All right, so on these are pretty easy, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on the geometric sequences. As a reminder, we're looking for the common ratio. Ratio is division. So we're going to take the second term, divide it by the first term. That gives me -6. So if doing the recursive formula, I'm going to look at -1 multiplied by -6. That gives me 6. 6 times -6 gives me 36. 36 times -6 gives me positive 216. So my ratio is -6. Whoops, I don't know why I wrote -16. -6. So this is a geometric sequence. All right. Number 7 through 10, we're given the explicit formula. Find the first 5 terms and the 8th term. So we're looking at n, and I'm going to write it this way just because it's a little bit different. So we have our A1, A2, we want A3, we want A4, we want the 5th term, then we also want the 8th term. So I'm going to write it like this. The little ... means that sequence continues in between. So our first term, I'm going to plug that 1 in for n. So that's going to give me 3 to the 1 minus 1. That gives me 1 minus 1 is 0. Any number to the power of 0 is 1. Okay? Now, my n is 2. So 2 minus 1 is going to give me 1. So 3 to the 1 power is 3. Next one is going to give me 3 to the 3 minus 1. 3 minus 1 is 2. So that's 3 to the 2nd power. So that's going to give me 9. We've got 4 minus 1, which is 3. So we've got 3 to the 3rd power, which is going to give me 27. 5 minus 1 is 4. So we have 3 to the 4th power, which is going to give me 81. Then we have 8. 8 minus 1 is 7. So 3 to the 7th power is going to give me a really big number, 2,187. So we have written our first 5 terms and the 8th term in our sequence. All right, that's pretty much, let me do one of these other ones where you've got some extra stuff going on. Let's do number 9. The only reason I'm talking about extra stuff going on is you want to take that answer and solve it. I'm gonna show you visually for our first term here. So our first term is going to be negative 2.5 times 4 to the 1 minus 1. Okay, that's going to give me negative 2.5 times 4 to the 0, which is negative 2.5 times 1, which our first term, that means that our first term is going to be 2.5. Okay, you see how I worked that out? So the second one, and technically you could set this up in your calculator if you are using the TI-84. Let's see, I'm going to pull up my calculator. Now, it kind of make doing these sequences a little bit easier. You just have to pay very close attention to how you're setting up your calculator, okay? So we have negative 2.7 minus, not minus, sorry, times negative 2.7 times, and then we have 4. 4 to the, then I have my exponent. Now that's x minus 1. Oh, I could help you out on this too, couldn't I? I don't know if I want to do that. I'll show you in just a second. So that means I want to do, if I'm looking for my second term, then that needs to be 2 minus 1. Okay? So enter, that's going to give me negative 10.8. Okay, my third term. So let's go back and enter again. I'm going to scroll up, enter, and I'm going to change that to be 3 minus 1, because we're looking at the third term. That's going to be negative 43.2. Then our fourth term. change that to 4. Negative 172.8. Our fifth term. Now you know your fifth term is going to be 4 for your exponent. So you could technically, you don't have to do what I've been doing and doing 4 minus 1 and 5 minus 1. You could just write 4 there. Okay, and that's going to be negative 692.2. Wait, what it is? 691.2. And then we want the eighth term, which is going to be 7. Which is negative 44 to 36. Whoops. 0.8. Now I'm going to show you on number 10 how to work this out really kind of easy. So this is a exponential function. If I go to my calculator and I go to my y and I say negative 4 times 3, and I put exponents, and that's x minus 1, and I go look at my table. My first term is negative 5. My second term is negative 7. My third term is negative 13. My fourth term is negative 31. My fifth term is 85. Hold on, let me do this so I can handle with writing this out. This kind of makes it nice for when you're just looking for a big number and you can just put that in. I mean, it does make it easier. But it is very important that you understand how the pattern works as well. So our first term is going to be negative 5. Second term is negative 7. Third term is negative 13. Fourth term is negative 31. Fifth term is negative 85. And then the eighth term is going to be negative 2191. And that's how you handle problems like number 7 through 10. Given the recursive formula for the geometric sequence, find the common ratio and the first 5 terms and write it as the explicit formula. Okay, so our ratio is going to be 2. So to write our explicit formula, that's going to be A-N. Now, that means that we're doing, in the explicit formula, we do our first term first times that ratio 2 to the n minus 1. Okay, I'll write that over here for your explicit formula. Let me write the A-N is equal to 2 times 2n minus 1. Let me write so our explicit formula is going to be our first term times our ratio to the n minus 1. That is our explicit. Okay, so now we just need our first 5 terms. Now our difference is our ratio is 5. So our first term is 2. The second one's going to be 2 times 2, which is going to give me 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is going to give me 16. And then 16 times 2 is going to give me 32. So that is how we answer that question. Let's see, number 15.